week. Oklahoma hate week. But you know what? This show is not why we hate Oklahoma. Nah, man, it's a lot more personal than that.
Nah, G, bring it. I'm telling you, yes. Yes.
Why we hate Bake.
And when we say we, usually we're talking about Mountaineer fans, but now we're going to talk about why the rest of the country hates Baker Mayfield.
The rest of the country, I would say 98.6% of the world's population hates Baker Mayfield. Okay? Baker Mayfield. Every time he does something he has no business doing, he issues a fake apology. This time he sprinkled in some fake tears. Soft batch, baloney garbage. Nobody believes you. And more importantly, nobody likes you. We all hate you, Baker. We cannot stand you. And the thing about it is, the biggest problem is you're a great player. We're not haters. So we're not hating on you. You are the best quarterback in college football, bar none. And I love Will Grier the most, but he's not the best at this juncture in time. Baker Mayfield is. That could be a combination of the system that he runs with Lincoln Riley. But if you look at the results, if you look at the data, if you look at all the averages, Baker's the man. So why do we hate him? Not because he's good. It's because he has a chip on his shoulder the size of Texas. He thinks the world's out to get him. Nobody's out to get you. We're just watching. But here you are making a fool of yourself every chance you get, grabbing your crotch, yelling obscenities, planting a flag into AstroTurf, then saying it wasn't premeditated as if you hadn't been thinking about doing it for an entire year when we all knew you were. When you were getting tackled by the police, the only solace you had was thinking about planting a flag at Ohio State's field. And we are not Ohio State fans. So we weren't offended by that. We're offended by you, Baker. We're tired of it. Everybody's sick of your charades.
Disrespectful. Just absolutely disrespectful. Look at all the stuff that Baker does. It's just, for me, it spills to people, oh, look how confident it is. You want somebody, stop it, shut up. It's not that. He's over the top, he's ridiculous, and he's disrespectful. We're not the only ones who think that. TCU's coach, Gary Patterson, Baker Mayfield went out to TCU, and he felt that he was recruited in high school by Gary Patterson. He thought he had a scholarship. He said they pulled it back. Gary Patterson came back at him and said, there's a reason why 128 schools didn't recruit you out of high school. Matter of fact, I'll read it. He said there's 128 BCS schools didn't offer him a scholarship. He said because Baker's father, James, is an arrogant guy who thinks he knows everything. If people knew the whole story, they may not have a great opinion of Baker or his father. Look, we don't need the whole story. We see what you do, all the antics. Now, all these antics are boiling down to one or two things. Either A, they're all very calculated because you're very selfish, or B, it is a lack of self-control. And I don't know which one it is. Think about all the stuff that he's done. Going into Texas Tech. He used to play for Texas Tech. He transferred to Oklahoma. So before the game, his last time at Texas Tech, he's wearing a Trader shirt. That's all about him. That's all he cares about is him. And he doesn't have the humility to dial it back, to be a team guy. No, it's all about him all the time. Like you said.
All the time.
When he was in Columbus, that planting the flag wasn't about Oklahoma. It wasn't Boomer Sooner. That was all about Baker. Baker being about Baker. That's what he does on and off the field. Because don't forget about his arrest where he was when he was publicly intoxicated. The cops come to get him and he tries to take off running and gets tackled. Don't forget about that either. There's thing after thing. And then like you're the one who was talking to me about him grabbing his crotch. But to Kansas, of all teams, Kansas. No, you lack self-control. And I think about it, who else do we know was a quarterback like that who lacked self-control and who had poor decision-making?
And arrogance.
Johnny Football. What'd he do? That's what I'm saying. Baker has all the talent in the world, but he has this little man complex. It doesn't go like people, don't you want your quarterback to be confident? No, because now I do. But it's not confidence. It's spilling over to little man complex, a Napoleon syndrome, the little engine who could. That's Baker Mayfield. That is Baker Mayfield. And that's the reason why I can't wait to see that dude on the field. And I know people say, be careful what you wish for. I'm sorry. I know I'm down right now, but I have full belief. And maybe because I want it so bad. I think we're going to shock the world. I think we're going to shock the world. I really do.
Well, I think we have a chance for sure. I want to say one thing about what you were talking about with Baker doing those gestures at Kansas, saying those things to Kansas. It wasn't the only team that he had no business arguing with. Kansas has one win. He's yelling at Kansas. They got one win. He also yelled at that point in time, when Baylor had no wins, he's yelling, "Daddy gonna spank you today." To Baylor.
That's what I'm saying. Because you lack self-control.
Grow up.
You're classless. You lack self-control, and you're arrogant.
Yes, he's pathetic. I cannot stand him. There's no part of me that likes him. Like I try to take a step back and think, is this just me? Is this just me jealous of what he's able to do? No, I'm not a hater. I've never been a hater in my life. I don't hate on Randy Moss. He was cocky. He had all kinds of antics. I didn't hate on Charles Woodson. I didn't hate on Deion Sanders. So why? And none of those guys played for my team. None of those guys are Mountaineers. None of those guys played on, at the time, the NFL teams I rooted for. So why was I okay with those guys, but I'm not okay with Baker? The reason is those guys were not so selfish that they were trying to hurt the team every chance they got. Baker doesn't care about anything but Baker, like you said. Baker does not have the ability to assess the situation and take the high road. He can never take the high road. So he transfers from Texas Tech. They made traitor shirts. That's what fans do. You're not a fan. You're the leader of a football team. You were a captain. You're not this week, but you were. And you're not captain on senior day. Why? Because you can't control yourself, like Jeremy said. You never can take the high road. You can't just let your play speak for itself. You gotta be a jerk. You have to be a jerk. It's an impulse you can't control. Nope. And everyone is sick of it. We're tired of it. We're so tired of it.
And then he gonna try to fake cry up there on the stand. Why do you think he did that? Why do you think he did that, Brandon?
Why he fake cried?
Yeah, why you gonna sit up there looking all, I'm so sorry.
I honestly don't know that he fake cried as much as I think he's more upset that he's not going to get to be a captain on senior day than he is at the fact that he's taken his team, giving them less of a chance on the first possession. That's what I think he should be more upset about, that he hurt his team. I don't think he's more upset that he hurt his team. I think he's more upset that he's not going to get to be a captain on senior day.
Nah, I don't. I don't think it has to do with being a captain on senior day. I certainly think he thinks he's going to win this game. I don't think it has to do with any of that junk. You know what he's thinking about? Himself. He's thinking about that Heisman Trophy and how it may affect. He wants to come off to these voters as, I made another bad decision. I don't think he cares about Saturday. I think Oklahoma thinks they're going to blow us out. That's the reason why he's not playing, because they think they're going to blow us out. They don't need him. I think he's thinking about his money. And when I'm talking about money, I'm talking about NFL money. He needs to say the right things and do the right things. And also he's thinking about that Heisman. It has nothing to do with about really being sorry, or I don't really think it's even being captain on senior day. He's going to be there. He's going to be getting high fives and whatnot. I think it's all about Baker wanting the best for Baker, which is not wrong. But when you continually trump your team and embarrass your team because you have no self-control, then it becomes a problem. Yep,
that's how I feel exactly. And I'm excited to see what the Mountaineers do on the last game of the regular season. I'm excited to see how Chugs responds with 80% of the reps in practice. I'm very curious to see if we can put together an entire, complete offensive game for the first time all season. And I'm excited to see the Dogs put together their best performance, because we're going to need it if we have any chance of stopping Oklahoma. Oklahoma is averaging 8.3 yards per play. 8.3 yards per play for an entire season. That's not in one game. That's not in 5 games. That's for 11 games. They've averaged 8.3 yards per game. That means there are some games where they average more than that, Jeremy. This team is sick. I mean, they are sick. Which means the dogs got to do more than just bark come Saturday. Them boys got to play ball. And I really think that they have the chance to do it. We've presented problems for Oklahoma in the past. We struggled running the ball this year, but we always seem to be able to run the ball on Oklahoma. Don't forget Tavon 344 coming from receiver to play running back. As a surprise, I wonder if Dana's got another trick up his sleeve. We know that David Israel is the backup. They said they're willing to burn his red shirt. I'm curious to see what we're going to do, if there's going to be any trick plays with David Sills. I just think you can't leave anything in the bag. You got to lay it all out on the field. You got plenty of time to rest up before the ball game. You got to go out and win this one for Will.
No, and I fully agree with you, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Let me just say one thing. I know this is why we hate Baker Mayfield and Oklahoma preview, but I'm going to tell you when I started hating Oklahoma, and this is the truth, it was way back in 2003. Their quarterback, White, won the Heisman. I can't remember his first name.
Jason White.
Jason White won the Heisman. I'm not saying he wasn't good. He had 3,800 yards. There was quarterbacks that year who were better than him, who threw for more yards, being Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. Matt Leinart had a better ratio, touchdown to interception. But there was a receiver from a certain school. He didn't win it because he was a sophomore. I don't care what nobody says. He's one of the most electric receivers we've ever seen in college football. There's no question that this dude should have won the Heisman. We, as Mountaineer fans, seen him play live. And the dude was just doing the most incredible things.
Against Pac-Man Jones.
Against Pac-Man Jones. That dude should have won the Heisman. He didn't. And Jason White won it just because he played for Oklahoma. And that's when my hatred for Oklahoma started. Because I'm like, they gave this bum. I'm not calling him a bum. But he won it because he's a starting quarterback, a senior starting quarterback at Oklahoma. And that's it. I remember that's when my hatred really started for them.
Yeah, I hated that. It was garbage. It was baloney. But I didn't like when they won their national championship either because they played Florida State instead of playing Miami. Miami should have been in the national championship game, and Miami would have beat the brakes off of them.
Would have beat the brakes off them.
And Miami had beaten Florida State that year, and somehow Florida State still made it into the national championship over Miami. All nonsense, all garbage. So 2 times they won when they should not have won, the Heisman and then the national title. But we digress. All that is water on the bridge compared to the hatred we have now because of Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield can make me hate my grandma. And I'm telling you right now, I
can't stand it. Like when I look at his face, I instantly get irritated. Just seeing his face.
Me too. Me too,
man.
The thing that gets me is there's so many things about him you should like because he's a dual threat quarterback. He can dance. We saw that video of him dancing, hitting the whip, and Nene doing all that other stuff in the crowd circle. You should like him, but he's a jerk. He's such a jerk. I cannot wait for them dogs to get to him.
Do you know who I like? I like Chugs. Here's the thing. I felt like he caught a rhythm. Here's my thing with Chugs, and I heard somebody else say it, and I heard Dana say it. I had my feelings already, and I heard Dana say it, but I go right along with him. We're playing with house money. When we go down there, look, somebody needs to get to Chugs and say this. This is your moment. This is what you waited. You grow up, you're playing a top 5 school in their house. This is your moment. You have no pressure on you. If you lose, they're going to say, hey, we didn't have our starting quarterback. Go out there, sling the ball, and have fun. Have fun. There's no pressure. We're playing with house money. Go for it. Listen, I want to impose our will. Make them stop. Impose our Chugs. Make them stop. Sorry, that's really cheesy.
That was terrible.
I want them to have to stop what we're doing. I don't want them to dictate nothing. I just want to come all out, full force, as hard as we can because we got nothing to lose. Let's leave it all out there on the floor, on the field, fellas. I believe in Chug. I believe in the defense. We're going to do this. We're going to have something. We're all behind you. We're going to climb that beanstalk, and Norman with you, have musket in hand for the awaiting giant. We're all ready for it.
Yeah.
I feel like they're overlooking us. I feel like they're not playing Baker. All right, we got something for you. This is the last game of the season. Let's go get them. Well, I'm telling you, all is forgiven. We beat Baker Mayfield in Oklahoma. If we turn the red blue, put our Mountaineer sign up. Look, all's forgiven, man.
It's like Chris Hall said, the last team to lose to Texas, then not have their starter and go into Norman won. That was Iowa State. Why not us? Why not Nears? It's time to do it, baby. I'm ready. I really know that. I know. I really know. I don't even want to say think. I know we can do it. It's just a matter of will we. And I'm ready to support our boys. Like I said, we'll be at Jack Doyle's, 240 West 35th Street in New York City. The Raspy Boys kids will be doing a live feed from there. You get to see us represent for Shrinkables, our big sponsor. We're going to have a puppy with us. You'll get to see what that's all about. It's going to be a lot of fun as we root on the Mountaineers as they go storming into Norman. You got to be there. If you're not in New York, you got to watch us. If you're not watching us, make sure you're rooting with the Mountaineers. Come on, 3:35 Eastern, ESPN. Don't miss it.